Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, it's on Love 99.5 FM. Together with over 30 affiliates dotted across Ghana's 16 regions, including Amenuveve FM in Apawu, Dreams FM in Bolgatanga, ATL FM in Cape Coast, Go Digital on Spotify, Facebook, and myjoyonline.com app. In this edition, more than 6,000 students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology forced by the university to defer their courses following their inability to pay their fees. We're live on campus. Teacher trainees warn there are serious security implications for Prinkov's decision to cut food supplies to students in the colleges of education.
If we allow this to happen, the students get to campus and they have to go through this. If care is not taken, this will be a threat to national security.
We hear from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission and also from students from some of the campuses. And as the economic crisis continues to bite hard, we'll tell you stories of how people are converting spaces in their compounds for gardens to help cut down on costs in sports.
Ghana has been drawn in Group E with Angola, Madagascar and Central African Republic for the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. GFA has been reacting to the draw. We have details in 20 minutes.
And Sisala West Nasarawa coordinator for governing NPP battles for life after hoodlums believed to be party thugs attacked him yesterday.
He was in serious critical condition. I cannot speak, I cannot talk. Yes, serious critical condition.
We hear from the police as they begin investigations into the violent incident. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. We're your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please stay with us for details. Many thanks for your company. We start off from Kumasi on the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology campus, where more than 6,000 students there have been forced by the university to defer their courses. They were unable to settle at least 70% of their fees by the first week of April or have their courses deferred automatically. 6,000 is a small proportion of the school's 85,000 population, but it's the first time such a huge number of students have been affected in this way. I'll take you live to the campus shortly, where my colleague Nuruddin Mohammed is being following this story for us. But thankfully, we've been joined on the phone by the University Relations Officer, Dr. Daniel Norris Bequing. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News, sir. So this is the number we are picking up. We're even told that the 6,000 we are reporting is just a small proportion. What really is going on campus?
Emefa, you know, every university needs to account for the number of students they have. So for a number of years, we have been having issues with students not paying fees, some of them completing university and going away with our fees. So this year, we have decided to apply the fee policy, which has been approved by the academic board. And it is required that as a student, if you're an undergraduate student, you must register your courses at the beginning of the semester and pay 70% of your fees. If you're a postgraduate student, you are supposed to pay 60% of your fees. Now we have given 2-month window from February through March to April 11th. And we have some numbers, well, about 92% of our student population who have been able to pay their fees and register their courses. And so those students are in good standing. What we are dealing with now is about 7 to 8% of the students who are unable to register their courses. Then we don't know the reason why they have not been able to do so.
And have we found out from these students, because some of them claim they are genuinely challenged, are we considering some exceptions, for instance?
The university over the years has given scholarship to a number of students. We are talking about students who have benefited from scholarship ranging to the numbers of about 6,000, 7,000. Last year, we gave free laptops to needy students, about 800 students. So the university is not insensitive. what we are having, the problem we have now is a number of students are playing games with the university. They use their school fees to buy Uber. Others are baking, they are setting up bakeries. Others are using it for betting. And these students, we have evidence. Some parents have even sent us audios where students have received their fees but have refused to pay, or simply trading with the money. And we cannot allow this to continue as a university.
That's surprising. Students are investing their school fees into other ventures, but
Yes.
if they are investing, how is it that they don't pay the fees?
So that is the question that you and I have to find answers to.
How long has the school noticed this? Because you've talked about betting. That's quite worrying that students are using their school fees to bet, buy Uber, bakery, amongst others. How long has this festered?
This has persisted for, I'll say, 2-3 years. Because previously we've had the notion that, okay, some people are genuinely having challenges, and so you allow them, we give them that leeway. And there's some complete with them without paying the fees. We have, if we tell you the amount of money that is outstanding in terms of fees is huge.
About how much
Emefa,
are we looking at?
No, what we are talking about right now is in the region of almost 55 million Ghana cedis.
Over a period of a year, how many years?
No, I'm talking about this year.
Just this year, 55 million in terms of arrears.
Yes, in arrears.
Well,
and if it will interest you to note that in a year we are spending over 22 to 24 million cedis just paying electricity bill. We are not talking about water. We are not talking about Wi-Fi. We are not talking about other expenditure that the university has to run to keep the university going.
But it could also be the case that there are certain students who are genuinely in need or are challenged. Have you gone into that as well? Maybe it's not all of them who are betting.
We are talking about student population of about 85,000. We have quite a number of students who are enjoying scholarship. Those people who have genuine challenges, there are avenues for helping those people. We have communicated this to the students. Go through the office of the dean of students. There are some who are even benefiting from SRC, what they call stipend, what they call the KBN. And some of them are using, those who are genuinely in need are using this kind of money to pay part of their fees. And they are cleared.
But
we have people who are genuinely not trying, they're seriously trying not to leave or go or according to the policy of the university. Deliberate.
So how long do they have to offset the bills before you ask them to defer their courses?
So we started communicating this from February, right down to the 11th of April.
Very well. We'll follow that up. We are grateful for your time. That's Dr. Daniel Norris Bequing, University Relations Officer, startling revelations there following the decision of the university to force about 6,000 students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to defer their courses because they are not paying their school fees. And we're hearing that some of them are into Uber, betting and bakery, amongst others. My colleague Nuruddin Mohammed is being on campus for us. Subsequently, he'll bring us details of what he discovered. But from one campus to another, because leadership of the teacher trainees says starving students on campus could become a matter of national security. The National Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education, Ghana, PRINCOF, has directed that teacher trainees to fund their own feeding from May 8. This directive is in response to the inability of colleges of education to make payments for food items supplied to them. According to PRINCOF, food suppliers would continue delivering supplies to these colleges of education for months without payment have finally withdrawn their services till they receive the monies owed them. We'll hear from the leadership of the Teacher Trainees Association shortly, but first, listen to the National President, PRINCOF, Dr. Emmanuel Nyameche.
For 6.5 months now, we haven't received any money to be paid to our suppliers in respect of food items that they have supplied to the colleges of education. So we have been in touch with the authorities, and assurances have been given, and we have managed to weather the storm up to this point. But we got to a stage where our suppliers are insisting that not until we pay them what we owe them, they are not in a position to supply any food items to us. Right. And we have a very tight academic calendar. Even missing a day out of it is going to seriously affect us. Quite a number of our students are not in a position to feed themselves. And so this system, it's helping out a lot. We have indicated that there are some of our students who, for various reasons, cannot fend for themselves. And so we want to give them ample time to prepare in the event that we reach a situation where we can no longer provide even a meal a day. And we think that 2 weeks is enough time to get them prepared to feed themselves.
We can now hear from the National President of the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana, Jonathan Juno, on their concerns. But
the fact is that as students, we do not agree to the measures that they are rolling out. Where would the student get the money from if you are asking them to feed themselves? If you are giving them 2 meals, breakfast, lunch, where would they get the money from to get supper? If you are giving them only lunch, where would they get the money from to get breakfast and supper? And then finally, you asking them to feed themselves for the rest of the time. Where would they get the money from? The situation is all about the allowance. You know, the feeding component comes with the allowance. So allowances are not paid, feeding component is not paid. The students equally do not have the money. So if you're asking them to go out and feed themselves, how would they do that? And I keep saying this. So if we allow this to happen, the students get to campus and they have to go through this. If care is not taken, this will be a threat to national security. Because you are sending over 20,000 students to the various campuses and they are going there to get starved. Do you think they'll be calm? No. Do you think there'll be peace? No. And that is where we don't want to get to. We don't want to get to that stage where they will see students are hungry on campus, so they are doing all the things. We pray it will never happen. So as soon as possible, I think that stakeholders should put in the needed steps indication that the issue is resolved. We had a meeting with GTEC and we were given the assurance that the money will be paid within the shortest possible time. So our expectation was that the money will be, based on what they told us, our expectation was that the money will be paid before the students come back from the Easter break. Only for us to wake up yesterday and then we were hit by this letter from Penkoff.
So that's the National President of the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana, Jonathan Juno. But what's really the background to the payment of teacher trainee allowances? My colleague Kweku Asante has details of that, joins me in studio. Kweku, refresh our memories.
So, I mean, in the 60s and 70s, in order for government to get as many students to opt for the teacher trainee colleges and nursing trainee colleges as against public universities, government decided to institute the teacher trainee and nursing trainee allowances. And so these allowances were reinstated as some form of incentive for students to patronize these colleges of education. But prior to the 2016 elections, former President John Dramani Mahama and his government decided that they will cancel the allowances because it did not make sense at the time to continue to pay teacher trainees and nursing trainees when they were guaranteed job. And also government said they wanted to transform these colleges of education to tertiary so that they and their counterparts in the universities are all on the same scale in terms of getting a degree. We know it became a big political issue and the NPP decided to restore the allowances. Some have said this was part of the factors why former President Mahama lost. And so in 2017, when the NPP came into office, they restored the allowances. We know that they've been paying up until some time now, but for almost 6 months, some teacher trainees have not received the allowances and they've been complaining about it for some time now. And there's been concerns by people like Africa Education Watch and other activists to ask government to bite the bullet and say that we made a mistake and we are cancelling it. We know that in the 2022 budget, almost 400 million cedis was budgeted for the teacher training allowances to be paid. And so this is the current state of play.
Okay, thank you. That's a quick question of our research desk with a bit of a refresher in terms of how we came about paying the teacher training allowances. We can hear from the leadership of the trainees who have also opposed the cancellation of the allowances.
Yes, we don't agree because the student loan itself, the student who on loan, they equally have their own problem. And for the fact that if you look at history, this allowance has been cancelled, brought. It means that there is particular importance attached to it. If you look at the colleges, ask yourself, are we at that level? Tertiary, as you say, fully. You go to tertiary, they don't wear uniform, we wear uniform. They don't sleep in dormitories, but we sleep in dormitories. Tertiary status, you are tertiary, so you shouldn't be given allowance, you shouldn't be the infrastructure to make it. Do not allow students to cook. You cannot cook in your dormitory. That's why I mentioned earlier that, look, if as a country we want to get there, then it's the whole conversation on it.
That's Jonathan Junu there. We're yet to hear from the Ministry of Education on this current development. Let's head to the Upper West region now. And the NPP's Nasarawa coordinator for Sisala West constituency, Musa Walaika Idrisu, is battling for his life at the Upper West Regional Hospital after sustaining severe machete wounds. Musa Walaika was allegedly attacked by some party thugs in the constituency belonging to a faction in the party's internal elections, according to a brother of the victim, Razak Bagaya. This is the second of such attacks on the victim. He spoke to Joy News earlier.
Musa is still in the hospital currently. We are at the hospital, and he's battling for his life. He is in serious critical condition. I cannot speak, I cannot talk. Yes, serious critical condition. As we family members, we are aware of the situation, the things that are happening on the ground before the attack. He is a current national coordinator for NPP at David. And they have a camp. The current chairman camp, the arrest, the new contestant, that is Majid camp. They were threatening him, and finally they have been sending warning to him that they are going to attack him. And even the polling station executive election day, he was attacked.
That's Razak Bagaya there. My colleague Rafiq Salam is following this for us and joins us on the line. Rafiq, what do we know in terms of the latest? Hello, Rafiq. Hello, Rafiq. It doesn't look like we have Rafiq. Okay, so we have the Upper West Regional PRO also joining us on the line of the Ghana Police, Chief Inspector Gideon Boating. Do we have him also joining us on the line? Okay, it appears we do not have Rafiq and the police also joining us. Ra'u, I don't know. But we understand the attack follows some misunderstanding between some factions in the constituency, and we'll get to know what steps are being taken to address the situation. The police currently joins us, thankfully. We are grateful for your time, Chief Inspector Gideon Boating. What's the latest? Have we made any arrests so far? And what's the preliminary investigations revealing?
Thanks so much. Well, we had information last Monday around 2 o'clock against Tuesday, that was yesterday, 12 thereabout to 1, that some other people, numbering about 10, have attacked a young man aged about 45 years by name Waleka Idrisu. And then they were brutalizing him, they were butchering him. So the Good Samaritan informed the police, and police proceeded to the scene. Then we had a man in a pool of blood all over with cutlasses wounds, suspected to be cutlasses wounds. And he was right to the Gwolu Government Hospital. When he was a bit okay, he was referred to the WA hospital here, regional hospital here, where he is now on admission responding to treatment. We pursued the perpetrators and were able to get 2 people who are now with the police assisting investigations. They are Tora Kanjanu, age 30 years, and a farmer. And then Valesin Bayuka, 39-year-old, also a farmer. And they are assisting the police. They had a man around a place called Hospital Junction at the Tumu there, the Golu there, and they attacked him and were brutalizing him, capitalizing him to that extent. And now we are investigating the case. We will say that nobody, this is a warning from the Apawu Regional Police Commander in the person of DCOP Mr. Peter Indagugri, that no other person should take the laws into his own hands to maltreat any other person. If you come across somebody who is committing an offense, the best thing to do is to report the person to the nearest police station or to assist if the person is resisting arrest to offense that he is committing or she is committing. Assist the person who says that victim has done something wrong or the suspect has done something wrong against. Assist that person to send the person to the nearest police station for police to investigate to the bottom.
Chief Inspector,
rather than to take the laws into your own hands to maltreat somebody.
Very well noted. But these 2 persons that you've arrested, is it in connection to this party internal elections, as we are told?
That is hearsay to me now. You see, we are hearing these sort of things. It's too early for me to land by saying it's affiliated to party something. We are investigating the case of causing harm. And even if it comes across that, we will not discuss somebody's statement that has given to police over here until the 48 hours elapses and police will proceed to the court. And then if the court deem it right to grant the person bail, the suspect bail, or to remand them for police to pursue their investigations, there is then that we police can read the person's statement. That will be the charge that we are going to put across at the law court. For the court.
Okay, we're grateful for your time. That's Chief Inspector Gideon Boating there. He's the Upper West PRO of the Ghana Police Service there. And we're told that the party has since held a press conference. My colleague Rafiq Salam was there. Will bring us brief details of what transpired. Rafiq, take us away.
The press conference just ended a few minutes ago at Bolu. And so the executives of the party, I'm talking about the Sisala West constituency, are putting the blame on the Upper West Regional Minister and the host of other regional executives of the party who are the mastermind of this disastrous attack on Idris. And so they are saying that they are trying to manipulate the elections, the polling season elections, in favor of one guy called Majid, who is also vying to become the constitutive chairman of the party. And let me also tell you that as I speak to you now, on the side of Mr. Idris, who was brutalized and who had severe wounds on almost all parts of his body. And I'm told by doctors at the hospital that tomorrow he has to go under the knife. And so that is the situation at the Upper West Regional Hospital.
Thank you very much. That's my colleague Rafiq Salam reporting from the Upper West region. You're listening to the Midday News. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, it's on Love 99.5 FM. In Wa, it's on Radio Wa. In Cape Coast, we are on ATL FM. You can go digital on your Spotify, Facebook, and myjoyonline.com app. We'll take a quick break with our top stories so far. More than 6,000 students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology forced by the university to defer their courses following their inability to pay their fees. We're hearing the students are into betting, bakery, amongst others, using their school fees and not able to pay. When we return, we have sports, and then as the economic crisis continues to bite hard, we'll tell you stories of how people are converting spaces in their compounds for gardens to help cut down on costs. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Muftau.
Emefa, on Tuesday, the draw for the Africa Cup of Nations was done. It's the 2023 edition. Ghana is seeking to end its 41 years of failure to win this competition. And we're hearing from the Secretary General of the Association, Harrison Prosper-Addo, who has been speaking about the group Ghana has been put in.
The Ghana AFCON, we are, should I say, pace setters and a giant in the AFCON. Ghana the post training say as a countries no more can say among person group. We have the character, we have the what it takes to win AFCONs. At least they are winning 4 times, irrespective of situation any day. No, we are still Ghana. We are the blasters, and we have the within us to shine above all countries in Africa.
Hopefully, Ghana goes to Cote d'Ivoire and wins the trophy.
We'll definitely win. That one is good job. Now, with the rising cost of living in Ghana, especially food, some Ghanaians have revisited the idea of having gardens on their compounds to grow food for themselves and their families. Others too are even using it as their source of employment. Samuel Kojo has been looking into this and has come through with this report.
Like the normal hot pepper? Yes.
Tracy, a mother of 2, walking me through her home garden around Kaswa. She tells me she's been doing this for over a year now.
It's been wonderful. There have been some, ups and downs, but it's expected in everything you start. So I've been learning along the way and it keeps getting better.
Tracy says this garden helps her to cut down on the cost of feeding her family.
In difficult time, you get to save some money. Some things like peppers, tomatoes, those are basic things we use all the time. And if there's a day that you may not even have money on you, at least you can just walk to your backyard and just pick up something and make something to eat. Yes, and then there's satisfaction in knowing what is in what you are eating. So just to have a perfect vegetable to put on the shelves. Knowing what you are eating, one, gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Tracy is not alone in this. Fred Duho is a seedling developer based in Lashibi. After losing his farm at a Ramsar site, he decided to turn his whole space in the house into a home garden.
Look around, so every space, the passion was there. So every space that I have here, I make sure I make use of it and then sell it to my neighbors. I started this container garden. I grow parsley, mint in them. Then I send to the market, Tesco market, and we sell them there. I grow mint.
Okay.
Yes, and parsley. That was what I was doing first.
Okay.
Yes, but when the coronavirus came, then people wanted seedlings to grow in their homes.
Okay.
So I started growing seedlings for them.
Okay.
Yes.
He tells me people are now becoming aware of what they eat, and so many people are going into home gardening.
A lot of people are now becoming aware of what they are eating. Some of the foods are not being grown well.
There's even an employment twist to it. He encouraged more people, especially the youth, to get into the home gardening practice to create jobs for themselves.
There's now high demand for organic food, and people are willing to grow vegetables in their homes. So some people are busy. They don't have time to be nursing seedlings and taking care of them. So the youth, anybody who is unemployed, can take it up and help. Like yourself, journalists, you don't have the time, you go around. But if you want to grow your garden, you can just pass by and grab your seedling. And then that's it. So that's how profitable it is.
Now, if we all can do this in our homes, it means that we'll all be cutting down on our expenditure, thereby finding ways to cope with the rising cost of living. For Joy News, my name is Samuel Kojo.
Well, it's time for showbiz. Kojo has more.
Gospel singer Empress Gifty has cautioned victims of domestic abuse in marriages to flee before it is too late. She opined that if the late singer Osinachi had self-confidence, she would have walked out of her union to avoid losing. Empress Gifty says run away from abusive marriages.
For me, if you're in a relationship, if you're in marriage, and you massage anything called abuse, you will die. I have come to a point in life that I will never advise any young woman, any marriage couples to stay in marriage that you've been abused in, domestic violence. You would die. die within your time. If this woman had self-confidence, she would have gone long time.
All is certainly not well between Ghana's Neptunes and Nigeria's Goya Meno, composers of the hit song Ameno Amapiano remix. After Goya shared an artwork of a global remix with David Guetta, Neptunes released a statement asking the public to ignore the news.
And that's Kofi Hayford with Showbiz for today, ending the midday news on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Top stories there. Teacher trainees to feed themselves starting May 8. We've also taken you to the University of Kwame Nkrumah Science and Technology, where over 6,000 students have been forced to defer their courses. Living Word with Pastor Menzel Tabil is up next. Please stay for it.